So, based off what you're saying, there's no, I was going to say a young person, like a young girl that's going through this. But you're saying there's people that are 78 years old that are dealing with the same thing. So, let's just say the woman that's out there that's going through this right now,
Yes.
what's step one? Because sometimes just running or sometimes just calling 911, like you said, you said you called for help 911 several times, if not many, and you just hung up.
No, it wasn't 911 that I hung up because they would have been there. It wasn't 911. It was the hotline for abuse. Yes.
Okay. So
I had the number. Yeah. I had the number. 911. Yeah, they would have come. The hotline, and I would say, "Oh, I'm sorry," or something like that, and they would try to keep me on, but they can't force you to stay on. You know what I mean? Like, unless
so
you're in danger, they're questioned, like, do you need police help or whatever? But then I say, no, it's not a good time, and I would hang up, and then back a week later.
Okay, so that's not always the easiest way. It sounds like it, and that's typically what we hear is like, oh, well, why don't you just call for help? Why don't you just call 911? But that's not always the easiest and the best way for every situation. So what's step one? If they're experiencing some domestic abuse right now, what is step one? In your opinion, what's step one?
This moment is not about tap water nor your favorite bottled water. This is about alkaline water. Call a distributor today to discuss finance options. 1-800-660-9431. Change your water, change your life. Now back to your favorite podcast.
Don't suffer in silence. Tell someone that you trust. Don't put it on Facebook. Talk to someone that you trust. Trust.
Okay. Now, what do you mean trust?
Well, I can go to the younger girl first. If you're, say, college age or less, let's say you're in middle school or high school or, because some girls do have boyfriends in high school. Say you have a guidance counselor or it could be, I'm not saying it has to be a girlfriend, but it could be somebody in your church. It could be just someone that shows that they have an interest in your well-being. Not just anybody, because people blab and people may warn the person that's harming you. Trust has to be someone like, it could be, some girls don't want to talk to their mother, so an aunt or, a neighbor that's been your neighbor since you were a little girl or someone. You can always think of that one person that you would trust your children with or your to hold money for you or someone that you trust.
Okay. So that's number one. All right. What's the number two? What do they do once they tell that person? So the trust with number one, this is not law and enforcement.
Well, right now, speaking of right now, is better than when it happened to me because right now, every police station or most in my area, all the police stations has a 2-woman or two people task force. So it's either male or female or both or 2 women or whatever. Every precinct, every police station has it. So you could call in non-emergency and ask for that task force. The only thing bad about that is that I think they go home, a certain time. I don't think they're there 24/7.
Okay. All right. So what is, after they tell someone they trust, what's next? What could be a number two?
If you're fearing for your life, then that's when the authorities should be involved. If it's verbal and you just had it and they won't leave you alone, because verbal could lead to what I said. Verbal normally does lead to that. It's just a matter of time. So don't think for a moment that if he's verbally abusing you, that he won't physically abuse you. And if he does, that one time is one time too many. Either get out if you're living with them, or, there's, a safe number to call, and it's a 24/7 number. Not the task force. It's a 24/7 number. And that number is 1-800-799-7233. It's 1-800-799-SAFE, the word SAFE. And you'll be helped if you just want to do it anonymously and not, like strangers instead of someone familiar. But absolutely do not hesitate, because that first slap is going to be a punch next time. And that's a fact.